jump in. So until
Okay.
they do, we'll just.
Okay. Well, really, this is our first blab tonight, and we're going to talk about some of the key characteristics of finding an extraordinary relationship, and we'll go into much more depth in a couple of weeks at my workshop on Saturday, January 16th. In the meantime, as people are joining us, if you have questions, feel free to jump in and ask away. I'll do my best to keep track. I know Mindy's watching what's going on the sidebar here. So let's kind of start it off with some of the key characteristics of finding an extraordinary relationship. One of the things that I found, and this is purely anecdotal, but the more people I talk to, the more convinced that most people start off a relationship without being absolutely crystal clear about what they're looking for in that relationship. Most people have some vague ideas about the mate of their dreams, their extraordinary relationship, or their soulmate, but they don't have anything crystal clear. They don't have things written down. And I'm a huge proponent that whether you're searching for your extraordinary mate, whether you're trying to achieve an income goal or have some other goal, you need to write things down and have crystal clarity about what you're looking for and how to get there.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When you talk about looking for that extraordinary relationship or writing down your goals for the relationship, many of us women have gotten into trouble is probably the best word I can use to describe, because we tend to look for somebody that for a long-term relationship, potentially marriage and so forth, and we've been chided for it. So that to me sounds a little bit intimidating, to be able to say that, yeah, I'm really looking for a permanent relationship, that extraordinary relationship, if you will. How do you address that? Because some of us are a little gun shy.
Well, when you're looking for your unique relationship, you have to focus on the fact that this is your relationship. I have been told by hundreds of people that my goals and expectations are unrealistic. Well, that's who I am. I have some very, very audacious goals for life, for business, for a relationship. My tendency is to ignore a lot of the external output and focus on what's important to me, what's in my heart. Society tells us that we can't have everything that we want. I disagree. It's like any other goal. If we work hard and we focus on what we're looking for and push away the distractions, there have to be there may be some reality checks along the way, but it's like if you want to date a marathon runner, well, you think you should probably start running or at least hanging around marathons and knowing the jargon and whatnot. Or if you want to marry a doctor or somebody in the medical field, you need to put yourself in a position to find somebody in that field. So, does that answer the question, Mindy? Or
yeah, it does. The hard part is we come into it with this series of expectations. I was once told that I'm the kind of girl that you marry, not the kind of girl you date. And, so we've got all these voices playing in the back of our head of these people that we've encountered previously that are, making it so that when you say be specific, have goals for your extraordinary relationship, what you want out of your relationships, we gave ourselves permission to do that once upon a time, but over time that kind of got taken away from us as well. So how do we reclaim that and feel confident that when we say, we are looking for a permanent relationship, how do we claim that back and give ourselves permission to do that again?
Well, that's a great question, and that takes a little bit of time. But the easiest way to do that is, in my opinion, is to start working on your list, deciding what's important to you. What are the characteristics that you're looking for? When you start focusing on the characteristics, and you have to put these together in a positive format. If you start with a negative aspect, saying I don't want this, I don't want that, what happens is that we start focusing on the negative, and what do we start to draw? We start to draw the negative. So the first thing we have to do is, when we start making our list of relationship makers or must-haves, we want to make sure that we're writing things down in the positive, whether it's somebody that has the same political conviction as us, somebody that likes to hold hands and show a little public display of affection. Whatever is important to you in that relationship, that's what you need to write down and start focusing on. As you start focusing on those things, you will start putting the voices or things that other people tell you to the wayside. And you have to have confidence in yourself that you're the person that can have everything that you want.
Okay. So number one is to set expectations and goals for your extraordinary relationship.
Exactly.
And forgive me, I'm going to have to plug in my computer.
Okay.
So I'm going to move for a second.
Oh, no. the realities of live electronics or live broadcasting.
Live broadcasting.
Live broadcasting. Yeah, no problem, Mindy. Then the next step is you have to be clear on your deal breakers. And one of the things that I've found is that unless you are clear crystal clear on what you want in the relationship, and you're crystal clear on your deal breakers, you'll tend to drift off. And when we jump into a relationship, we are covered. We fall into. Oh, Mindy, I just lost you. And I'm not sure how to get you back here. So anyway, what we want to do is we want to make sure we're crystal clear on those things, have those things written down, and focus on those, because as we get into infatuation, we tend to miss the red flags. We tend to ignore what's important to us. And thanks, Dan. Then what we want to do is then the next step is to figure out what kind of a person it needs to take to find your extraordinary relationship. Do you meet those characteristics? If not, what things do you need to work on? What things do you need to improve? So those are some of the key focus points. And what you'll find is that as you stay focused, there you are, you're back.
I am. Thanks, Dan, for cluing him in that I would be back. So what did I miss?
Not much. I was just following up on your question and explaining that you need to have your deal break, also have your list of deal breakers, but also follow up on what you need to work on, or who you need to be to find that extraordinary relationship. And when I say who do you need to be, it's not making necessarily major changes or being a false you. You still have to be who you are. But if there are changes that you need to make, a change in whatever it might be, going to the gym, going to how you approach somebody, your wardrobe, your attitude. And attitude is a huge factor in relationships. No one wants to be around somebody that's negative all the time. And so understanding how to be a positive person will have a significant impact. Having a smile on your face from time to time is important. Actually, a smile on your face all the time is even better. But
Absolutely. So, do you think that when people come up with this list of deal breakers,
mhm.
that is there a tendency to not have enough deal breakers, or do people tend to go overboard and have too many?
If anything, people tend to go overboard and have too many. And when you start to have a long list of deal breakers, what I would do with my clients is I take those negatives or the deal breakers, and I tend to spin them around to the positive and actually make them a must-have. For example, if somebody doesn't want a smoker, on my list, it's must be smoke-free. And if there's somebody that has a negative attitude, you might turn it around and say must have a positive attitude. So there's
What would a deal breaker sound like then?
well, it could be something like no porn, no drugs, no no addictions. They could be very specific, but it's I've had people that have had very long lists, and that would include just a variety of things. They don't eat healthy. They don't do this. They don't do that. Or they do this. They do that. They don't do this. And it's a matter of changing it from a negative to a positive. And sometimes it's a little difficult for me to be specific because I tend to switch everything into the positive when I'm looking at my lists.
See, I kind of look at those as qualities and attributes that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the deal breaker is don't hit me, don't cheat on me, don't lie to me. Those types of things that are just deal breakers for the relationship, where the relationship ends if those circumstances happen.
Exactly. And you could even turn a couple of those don't cheat on me, you must be loyal or faithful.
Mm-hmm.
In that characteristic.
That makes sense.
Thanks, Dan, for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Bye, Dan.
And one of the things that I've found is that as you develop your list, the first time you go through and build your list, that's not the end of it. Because as you date, you're going to find characteristics of people that you absolutely love, and even though this person may not be the right person for you, there are characteristics that you want to add to your list. I've modified my list or added to my list several times over the last 5 or 6 years, and it's as I've dated, as I've met women with some incredible characteristics, I've added those things to my list as must-haves.
Those are the things that are of value to you going forward in other relationships.
They are the things that they're absolutely of value.
And they're the things that you remember about past relationships that are wonderful.
Exactly. And it might be characteristics that, for a lady, it might be a characteristic that he opens the door. He's a gentleman. He does things. He carries the groceries in. He takes the garbage out. Could be any number of things. He seats you at the table first, and doesn't question picking up the check.
And yes, these are things that we still value, contrary to what many people out there in the media try to get us to believe. Women still do value those things in gentlemen.
Oh, absolutely. And I have found that, and the really sad thing is, as I've dated, I actually have to reacquaint women with some of the gentlemanly characteristics. Walking to the car, and opening her door and letting her, helping her in the car, opening the door as we come in and out of a restaurant or in and out of the house. It's just things that we've been so bombarded with social media that And no offense, women can do it all on their own. Well, yes, they
Absolutely.
can. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you can. But there are still the gentlemanly qualities that I believe need to be shared and used on a regular basis.
See, I agree with you completely. I don't think that because a woman is intelligent and capable in the business setting, in the workplace, that that means that we have to give up femininity and being women in order to be successful in those arenas. I think we bring a certain attribute and a certain asset to those arenas that enhance any company, any church setting, any organization we would be involved in. And I think that allowing men to be men is critical to our society. There's so many men that have been emasculated along the way. And unfortunately, I also think that that has harmed our society.
I completely agree, and it's gotten to the point that uh, fathers are not teaching their sons how to do this because they don't know. As you said, they've been emasculated, and it's just men are confused. We don't know. Uh, we don't know what to do, or at least most men. Let's put it that way. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you teach to learn some of these things and to move forward in your dating lives.
I went out on a first date with a guy back in college, and to be fair, his family was loaded. And we got to this very nice restaurant here in Kansas City, and we sat down to the table, and he proceeded to tell me that we were going Dutch, and not only were we going Dutch, but we were going to share a meal. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Something is not right here. Because and I had money. I was willing, and I was going to offer to pay my portion. But the way that he laid down the law at the beginning of the date, once we were seated at the table, I was like, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, I would. That would be the next words out of my mouth would be next.
See you.
It's been real and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's and again I'm old school. If I ask you out on a date, I expect to pay. It's not I expect to pay until we would be in a committed relationship. If we get into a committed relationship, then yeah, you can start paying for a meal here or there. You can cook, or whatever. We can share. We can talk about how to share those responsibilities. But until then, I am very old school, and as long as I'm asking you out, I'm paying. So,
Okay. Ladies, if you want to ask Rick out, know that he's still going to pay for the date.
Yes, I will. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's all part of it. So yes,
we have our expectations and goals for a relationship. We have our deal breakers. Remind me again the third one.
The third one is, what kind of a person does it take to attract the person of your dreams, or the your extraordinary relationship? And you have to take, this is where we have to take a very deep introspective look at ourselves. Do we have the qualities that we want and to accomplish that relationship? Do we have to have every characteristic that we're looking for? Absolutely not. One of the characteristics that I look for in a relationship is a woman that can cook. I'm not great at it. So if the expectation was that I was to do all the cooking, we wouldn't be eating well.
Unless you went out.
Yeah, unless we went out. Exactly. So it's one of those things that we don't have to match on characteristic for characteristic, but we do have to be realistic about what it's going to take to attract that mate. Again, like I said earlier, if you want to date somebody that's a marathon runner, you should at least be running, doing 5Ks, 10Ks. You don't necessarily have to keep up with him or her, as the case may be, but you should be reasonably fit so that you have some things in common. That being said, if there are changes that need to be made, then start working on those changes. You don't have to be perfect. In my opinion, we're all a work in progress. And so the more you the more you make of yourself, the better mate that you're going to be, regardless of what stage you are in life.
So looking at my husband and myself, we have very vast differences of interest levels in different areas between us. And then we have some very solid common denominators. For example, I love to sing. I love to dance. He will take the dance floor if I prod him and ask him to do that enough. Singing, he would say jokingly that there's not enough beer to make him do that. But he'll go and he'll go with me while I sing. I can shoot. I can shoot very well. Pistols, rifles, shotguns. It doesn't matter. I can shoot. I've gone out into the woods during hunting season with him, but that's not what I enjoy about that. I enjoy the shooting and, the target practicing, whereas he will actually go hunting. So, kind of comes back to those opposites attract. But if we have different interests, how can we still have that extraordinary relationship, even though we have different interests?
Well, that's a great question, Mindy, and I will challenge you on your view of what you see in your relationship as being opposites. I see that he's willing to come out and support you when you go out and sing. Granted, he probably doesn't enjoy dancing. He probably should take a couple of ballroom dancing lessons, and
we talk about it
and suck it up. But the fact that he's supportive when you're singing. Just because he doesn't want to sing doesn't mean that he's stopping you from it. You take an interest in guns and going out to the range. Okay, he has his hunting time, just like you have your time to do whatever it might be, whether it would be, and this is very, very sexist. Whether it be shopping or a spa day or, whatever it is you like to do. He's supportive of that. You're supportive of the things that he does on his own. You each need to have your own time away from each other. You can't be together 24/7. I've experienced that, and it really doesn't work well.
It's called codependency.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and to be fair, in a healthy relationship, there is a certain level of dependency on the other person, because that's what relationship is. One person gets ill, and they're dependent upon that person to help them get through it. The other one's going through a tough time with a family member, and you're helping them through it. You're being a helpmate to them, and there's a certain level of dependency that goes with that. Especially, you start having children and one person stays at home to take care of the children, and more men are doing that. But that's not codependency. Codependency takes it to a different level.
Right. Exactly. And that's a topic in and of itself for another
blab.
Another multiple blabs. That's a deep subject. But and one of the things you did make the statement that to some extent opposites attract, and that is true. But statistically, when we look at opposites, those relationships tend not to last more than 5 5 years on the average. And the reason being is that what's cute and funny and unique in the beginning starts to grate on you because there are so many opposites. And the amazing thing with an extraordinary relationship is that you connect, you develop a connection, you develop a communication that is it is really beyond description. It defies words. And what I've found with that type of relationship is that if there's something that you truly enjoy that I really don't, I will at least participate at an arm's length away, or be supportive, just because it's your passion, not because it's mine, not because I enjoy it, but because it's your passion. And
Because
so
you care about their feelings and their interests.
exactly. And it's just a matter of being your cheerleader, just as you would be my cheerleader.
So you have this workshop that's coming up in just a few weeks. Tell us a little bit more about that.
This is an exciting workshop. It's a full day workshop, full 8 hours. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, January 16th. We're going to talk a lot about what we've just talked about, identifying and becoming crystal clear what your ideal relationship looks like. We're going to have some guest speakers. We've got Jeff Miner coming in. He's going to talk to us late in the morning about our limiting beliefs and how we can overcome those limiting beliefs. And that's not only helpful in searching for your extraordinary relationship, it's very powerful in the rest of your life. And because we all have limiting beliefs in one form, fashion, or another. Then we have a fashion consultant coming in, or an image consultant coming in to talk to us about how we dress, getting set up for that first date, what looks best on us, and getting that first outfit put together. Yeah.
You mean you don't? We women, the first date with my husband, I think I shared this story with you before, Rick. 6 hours I took to get ready for this date, and not one stitch of clothing was on a hanger or in the dresser by the time I was ready for this date. It was all on a mound on the bed. And that's how we women do this thing. But how much less stress would it be if we already knew what we would wear?
And that's exactly the whole point, is understanding. Have your first date outfit, have a second date outfit. So the first and second dates can be nerve-wracking enough without having to stress about what you're going to wear. Let's take that off the table and just make life easy. Your friends might get a little snarky and say, "Oh, you're going on a first date? I know that's your outfit." But what better outfit to wear than one that you know is always going to get you compliments, and have that put aside, or at least know what you're going to wear ahead of time. Then we have Michelle Birch Jones, who is has a master's in psychology, in corporate psychology, and she's going to come in and talk to us about personalities and how personalities impact us especially in early dating. And then we're going to wrap it up with putting it all together and showing you how to get date ready conversations to have, conversations not to have on a first date. And things to say, things not to say.
We're going Dutch.
Yeah, I was going to say going Dutch is not one of them. Not one of them to have. That should, at least for the guys. And then we're going to put it all together so that you should be a much stronger dater at the end of the day. We're going to provide lunch and snacks and beverages throughout the day, so it's going to be very convenient. So if there's anything any questions that anybody has that they want to ask us specifically or be prepared to, send us an email, send us a text. send us a message, and we'll be sure to address those questions live and in person.
Okay. So for those that are going to be watching this on the replay, the information that people need to know is that if you want to come to the live workshop, it's held in Kansas City on the 16th.
On Saturday, January 16th, it's in Overland Park. It will be at the ACA Business Center, and that's on the corner of 105th and Metcalf. The exact address is 7092 West 105th Street.
Okay. And if they want to register, where do they go to register for the workshop?
Great question. And you go to Love for a Lifetime. That's love, LUV, the number 4, a lifetime.com. And then go to the events and seminars page, and it will have a list of workshops. And January 16th is the date, and we're going to have a wonderful day of learning and getting to know each other and having some fun.
So I encourage anybody that might be watching this live tonight or on the replay in the coming days to register for the workshop. Finding that extraordinary relationship is as much about exploring who you are and your values and what is important to you as it is finding that person. You've got to be ready when you find them, because otherwise when you come across them, you're going to pass them by, or they're going to pass you by. So take the time, go to the website, loveforalifetime.com.
.com.
Right?
Yep.
.com. Yep. And make sure that you register for the workshop on January 16th. Also, stay tuned on Better Kansas City if you're here locally, because Rick does some regular segments there on Better Kansas City as well.
Very good. Yeah, we'll keep you posted on those, and we'll rock and roll. And I think it's about time we wrap this up and say goodnight.
And you will be back doing another blab next week.
Yes, I will. We're going to, our goal is to be back weekly, Wednesdays at 7:00. And so look for us next week, or me. I'm not sure if Mindy will be here, as she's half flittering around the country and doing her thing, but hopefully we'll get her to join. Hopefully, very good.
I will be.
Very good. Okay, We'll see y'all next week. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.